Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to walk you through some software, specifically Vectric's Carve Pro. We're going to be redesigning my wasteboard. If you watched the last video, you'll remember that I had some problems with the hold downs. That'll be a future video, making some new hold downs. The big problem I have with the wasteboard that I have on there right now is that I use threaded inserts. I don't know what people do to make those things work, if they ever do work. The problem I have is they end up getting stripped out. The MDF wasteboard just doesn't allow you to tighten things down very tight, so I don't like that, and I'm going to change it. What I'm going to use is some T-nuts instead. Those T-nuts are going to be installed from the bottom, which means they won't strip out and they should stay put. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to take you down to my computer and I'm going to show you how I went about designing the wasteboard and how we're going to cut it out.
Alright guys, so once you open up VCarve, you want to select Create a New Project. After the program's open, you need to determine what the boundaries of your project are going to be. The wasteboard I currently have is 30 by 14 and 3/4 inch thick, so we're going to keep it there. So here's our area that we're going to design our wasteboard on. First thing I'm going to do is I need to determine the diameter of the through holes. These are the holes that the skinnier part of the T-nut's going to run through. I used my calipers and measured it to 0.312 inches. I want somewhat of a snug fit, so I put it exactly as the calipers said it was. Next thing, to make it easy, we're going to do a linear array. We know we're going to have 7 rows, and those are right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We know we're going to have 14 columns, and this was all pre-planned ahead of time. So once we've done that, our offset. I want my holes 2 inches apart. As you see, my X and Y is set to 2 inches. Click copy. You have a 2-inch grid of 0.312 holes. We're going to center it into the project, and there you go. Perfectly placed. Every single one of them. No copy and paste. Just right there. So next thing I want to do, since all these are going to be drilled exactly the same, I'm going to group them together by using the group function. Next thing we need to do is create a circle with the diameter of the bottom part of the T-nut. Measured that. 0.690 is what I want. It's just a tad bit oversized. We're going to come back in, select that circle, and do another array. Settings are still the same. That's all we want. So once we click copy and center it right there, it's going to be in the exact same spot as the others. There you have it. So what we're going to do now is we are going to group those together as well. Now the smaller circles and the larger ones are not grouped together. The larger ones are grouped with the larger ones, smaller ones grouped with the smaller ones, as you can tell. So what now? We need to create a toolpath. So we're going to use the pocket toolpath. And in the pocket toolpath, we need to select our tool. Since the smallest bit that I can, or the largest bit that I have that'll still fit both holes is a 1/4 inch end mill, we're going to choose that one. There will be no tool changes when drilling the holes, or should I say machining the holes, both the small and the large. So our feed rate on this is going to be 100, maybe not 80 inches a minute. It's going to take a few minutes longer, but that's okay. Our plunge rate, this is MDF, so 50 inches a minute. I think that'll be just fine. Set that. Now we need to go in and tell it how deep do we want it. So first thing you notice, I had to unclick my use larger clearance area tool because this obviously does not need that. So the depth I measured, I decided that the pocket for the base of the T-nuts, it just needed to be about 0.090, and that should clear it from the bottom of the board. We'll see. If it doesn't, we'll cut it again. But I think it should be good. So we're going to preview our toolpath right here and see if it worked the way I thought it did. And there you go. That is the pocket holes for the bottom end of the T-nut. Just barely needs to be recessed under the surface and barely wide enough for it to fit in there. Now keep in mind, this is the bottom of the board. It's not the top. These T-nuts get mounted in from the bottom. Second thing we're going to do is create a tool path for the smaller holes. Now my MDF is 3/4 inch. And in hindsight, I should have gone a little deeper because I think that MDF is just a tad thicker than 3/4 inch. But I put 2/1000 of an inch larger, so it doesn't cut through so far. So 0.752 should give me a cut through and just a hair more. I don't really want to mess with the wasteboard that came with the CNC. Now, I don't think I need 4 separate passes on this. It's MDF. It's a lot softer than hardwood. I think this bit and MDF should handle it. And by the way, I'll be using a 3-flute 1/4 inch end mill with a flat end. All the rest of the settings should be the same. Conventional climb cut, I don't think it makes a difference. And now we'll calculate that path. It's going to tell you, hey, you're going to cut through your board. That's okay. You want that. So here's our tool path, and we'll take a look at it and see what both tool paths look like together. And there you go. There's your through holes and your pocket for the base of the T-nut. That's exactly what we want. And keep in mind, like I said, this is the bottom of the board. Now, to save a little bit of time, I went ahead, and what I'm going to do next is show you the grid lines that I want to put on here. I'm sure you can do a wasteboard with absolutely no grid lines with no problem. So we need to save these tool paths because this is the only tool path that we're going to use in end mill. So I selected save tool path, and I'm going to output both tool paths to the same file. That way what it's going to do is it's going to go cut the pocket first, and then it's going to cut the through hole second without it going back to home and wanting to load another file. Using the same tool, you can do that. Name this one Wasteboard T-nuts, so we know which one it is when we go to cut it, and save it. So the next thing we're going to do is go back to our, I guess we'll call it the editing view. From here, I'm going to design the grids. This is really simple. Now I'm sure there's an automated way to put these grid lines on there. I'm not really sure what it was, if there is one. So I just did it the hard way. I used the Create Line Polyline tool and the functionality of Carve centering it into each circle, which I absolutely love. And I connected every single dot in here vertically and horizontally. And we'll just watch it go through this real quick. Now I had to kind of think to myself here, since it wants to stay connected until you right click just like that, and then you have a single line. Well, why can't I just make like a zigzag pattern, you know, right there, and then go up and just keep the whole thing connected. I'm not sure if the machine's going to want to go back and cut those overlapping lines twice. I guess I'll find out. But either way, this is how I went ahead and designed it. So we'll watch here for a minute. I'll go through and do the same thing on the horizontal lines as well. This is a pretty simple wasteboard. There's not a whole lot to it. There's 98 holes in there, and if you notice, I did offset the holes from the sides more than the top and bottom. That's as a result of the mathematics in the array and the size of the board. You know, being in a size that, you know, it can't fit another 2 inches worth of holes to the right or the left. This is as far as it could go, and quite honestly, this will work just fine for me. I don't foresee myself, you know, needing that extra hole on the side. If I do, hey, I have a CNC machine and the wasteboard's attached to it, so I can just drill some more holes, right? So we'll zoom in there a little bit, take a peek. Everything looks good. And now what I'm doing is I'm selecting all my lines so I can group them together so they will all cut in one pass. There you go. Everything's connected. No, I take that back. I did not group them together, it looks like. But it'll do the same thing. You create a tool path. Now, Quick Engrave. You got Carve and Quick Engrave, or you got Profile. I went with Profile and just selected a depth. I'm using a 60-degree V-bit. The depth was chosen just because I took my calipers and opened them up until I thought, well, you know, that looks like a good depth. It doesn't really matter. But either way, the pause right here is me looking at my calipers trying to decide what size to use. And maybe I'll decide sometime today. There we go, 0.050. One pass, obviously. Now you want to machine the vectors on the line. Obviously, you're only going to get your lines correct if you're on the line. If you're off the line, you're not going to match up with your holes. So we'll take a look at this whole thing together. And once again, keep in mind, this is the top of the board, but I'm saving it from the same project that I'm doing the bottom of the board on, which does not matter. Because I'll flip the board over on the machine once I go to cut those. But as you can tell, everything lines up, nothing's missing, everything matches. Excellent. And there's our tool path for the profile cut. One tool path, it doesn't matter if that output visible toolpath box is checked. I like to uncheck it when I'm not using it, that way I don't make any mistakes. And we'll name this Wasteboard Grid. Now I've seen people put numbers on their grid. I chose not to. I don't really use the numbers, just the lines, that's all I need. And we're done. So from here, we will take all this out to the garage and we will start cutting on it.
Okay guys, I'm ready to get started with this wasteboard. It's been a long day, it's 102 degrees outside, it's really hot. I'm ready to sit inside in the air conditioner, so we're gonna get started. First thing I have to do is to take out every single one of these inserts. They weren't countersunk deep enough for me to feel safe drilling through the other piece, and it's gonna go on top of this. Because like I said, I do not want to ruin the wasteboard that came with the machine. Some people do it. I just don't feel like making another one for it. So get ready to start removing these inserts. That's done. I think there's something missing. Okay, now that that's done, we can continue. I need to take the drag bit out. Go. And we want to put it away the way it goes. That is my next project, is bit storage, because these are just all thrown in a drawer. It's horrible. And we are going to replace that with this unfocusable. It's a it's a 3 flute 1/4 inch straight end bit. You'll just have to trust me. Just have to trust me. Get that sucker in there. Excellent. Make sure everything's good and tight here. All right. Okay, now that's done. We can see if our T-nuts fit. As you can tell, they have little teeth on them, and those just simply push right in. The only thing I'm worried about is whether or not the recess pocket for the large part of the T-nut is going to be deep enough. So we'll see. Alright, here goes nothing. It's going to need some persuasion. Apparently, they say get a bigger hammer. Let's see. Well, you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty close, but it's not good enough. So the solution to the problem is run that tool path again with a little bit deeper pocket. Not a problem. We'll just go over there and export that toolpath again. You'll see it does not take long. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to, well, you know what, I'm just going to do it, and when we come back I'll show you the results. Alright guys, we're just about there. One more, well, two more things to do, but we're only doing one more tonight. I'm not going to cut the lines in it tonight, the grooves. It's getting hot, it's getting late, I'm getting tired. So we're going to surface this thing. As you can tell, it has absolutely no holes other than the ones that I drilled to mount it to the wasteboard that comes with the machine. We need to make sure this thing is completely flat. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this. It's a Whiteside 1-inch carbide surfacing bit. Whiteside makes these just for spoilboard surfacing. You can use it for other things, I'm sure, but I've never used one of these. I'm only going to take a 1/16 off. I'm playing with the feeds and speeds. I did a little research. Hopefully I got it right. It'll be an epic mess if I didn't. So we're going to put it in the machine. I've got the toolpath already saved, and we're going to get this started and get this done. We'll see how it goes. I think you get the picture. I'm gonna man the vacuum. Alright guys, it's completely done. As you can see, all the holes have come out. It took off that just tiny little top layer that it needed to expose those holes. This lens isn't really made for looking down into... Oh, it won't focus, but you have to trust me when I tell you that those inserts are quite a ways down there, and they are not going to hit anything. See, I'll tell you how deep they are. 0.317. We still got quite a bit of space, so we could probably surface this thing 2 or 3 more times before we had to worry about hitting those inserts. So this board will last us quite a while. Works just like the other one. The only difference is this one, the inserts thread so much better. They're a lot nicer insert, and the more I tighten, the more it pulls that insert up from the bottom. So I don't have to worry about that insert wanting to strip into the MDF. Those 4 teeth will hold that insert in. It's not moving. It's not going to fall out the bottom because there's a board behind it. So in my opinion, T-nuts, so much better than inserts. Maybe a little bit more difficult, a little bit more machining involved, but in the end it's all about how well it works, and I think this is going to work a lot better. I'm not going to show the grid lines being cut in there. I'm exhausted, I don't have time, but maybe on my next video I'll run a quick video of it. It's, you know, just a V-bit running some lines, so it's nothing exciting. Hey, anyway, so that's going to be it for me today. If you would, please hit the subscribe button down in the corner. I'd like to get some people seeing these videos. I need help with all this stuff. I'm sure I can help some other people. The more people I get, the more that we can help each other. And thank you again for watching the video. please comment if you have any questions, concerns. If I'm doing something unsafe, if I'm doing something wrong, please let me know.